Welcome back. And my mouth is watering because we all know it is the little things that are going to get us through winter. But my goodness, if we're going to reach for anything, let it be some pie sent from above. Joining us now is the woman behind the Pie Hole Bake Shops in BC. Y'all are so lucky out there. And the author of You Want a Piece of Me. It is Jenell Parsons. Thank you so much for blessing us today.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm so excited.
Kayla's excited, you're excited, and I'm excited because pies hold sort of like a special place in my heart. My first long form piece of journalism was an in depth investigation on how to make a really good pie crust. So I'm also like a little bit passionate about pies and I have opinions about them, especially like messing with the classics. But you're going to tell us why this is a delicious idea to mess with the classics, starting with your apple brown butter rosemary pie. Tell us about it.
Definitely. I mean, we don't necessarily mess with the classics. It's our bread and butter. Apple pie will always be number one at the pie hole. But there's something about taking these tart Granny Smith apples, these sweet gala, and just elevating this dish by adding brown butter, which is warm and nutty, adding a little bit of fresh rosemary. It just complements so much. It's like a little hug.
I see Kayla looking down there, and that's because we were both sent from you two pies all the way from BC for us to try. So we're going to do it
Won't
right now.
he do it?
Look at
I'm
the
so
crust, you
excited.
guys. Look at the
Oh my
layers.
gosh.
This is art.
Oh, these apples want to be here. You know, pies that they don't look
Stop
like they
it!
want to be here. These apples want to be there.
Kayla.
Mmm. This honestly, Jenell, this tastes amazing.
Oh,
Now you say
thank
every
you.
good pie starts with an amazing base, and the recipes you're going to show us today use a double butter crust. Look, I keep looking down because I can't keep my eyes
I
off this
know.
thing. Tell me the tips and tricks for a good base.
You bet. So double butter crust. I mean, the name says it all, you guys. There's double the butter of most recipes. So
Mm.
that's the first thing. But second is you want to keep that butter as cold as possible. So the colder it is when it goes into that hot oven, it starts to melt. It creates steam. It expands. That's where you're seeing those flaky layers. So that's what makes it really special. And then also keep your hands off. You're not making bread here, you're making pie. So work it really fast and rest that dough. Just treat it carefully.
You've got an unfinished version of this pie that we're having, and you're going to show us how to put the top layer on.
I am. So I started to get a little ahead of myself there. I'm so excited to make it. But we just put the top layer on. I've put a little egg wash on the rim. That's going to glue the top to the bottom. And if you have too much overhang, you can always use some scissors just to trim a little extra off.
Oh, nice.
Because if it's too tall, it's going to tip over in the oven. It's just going to melt down when that butter melts. Then we are going to just go along and do a little pinch and twist and get our pie all done.
Oh, mine never turned out like that.
Mine just don't turn out just because I am new to the pie world, but I am so happy to be here. And this is the question I have for you because we all see those woven tops that look all pretty and great. Is there a reason why people lean towards that option as opposed to just a straight up pie top, or is it just to look cute?
Well, it definitely is a cute look for sure, and it really makes that picture perfect Instagrammable pie. The top
Right.
crust is there, and it has a purpose. It is to protect the fruit inside. Fruit has natural sugars, and you don't want it to burn. But if you're doing something like a cherry, a strawberry rhubarb that's got that pop of color, the lattice is really going to let that show through.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are burying the lead because I am looking. Look to your left. There's a pie there that says the social on it. Can you talk to me about decorating pies? Because my goodness, that is a skill. That is an art form.
It definitely is. And so when you get a little bit confident with making that pastry, you can start using things like cookie cutters. No cookie cutter was going to get your guys' name on there because you have a specific font. So a little tip for that is freeze the pastry, get a sharp little paring knife. I printed a template from the internet and got in there and hand cut all of that just for you guys.
And so, as I am still learning about the pies, these pie streets, we don't have to just have pies for desserts, ladies and gentlemen. That can also be savory as well. So, tell us about the next dish that you prepared because this sounds delicious.
This one is great, a good one for a holiday. It's got the whole meal in there. It's a Swedish meatball pie. So we start with our own meatballs. We make them by hand, roll them, we braise them off in a nice pan. Then we move them into the oven with a little chicken stock to cook them off, and then use that pan to deglaze to make the gravy. So you're not losing any flavor. These are so good. You guys, if you could smell them. I wish I could have sent this one. I couldn't. Sorry. And then we do, so what I have here is a partially baked pie crust. So we're giving it a little head start, baking it off, and we're going to fill this up with the meatballs. And I'm going to tell you, pie is the ultimate expression of love. So fill your pies, ladies. Anyone who's making them, show people you love them.
Hey, Jenell, how come some pies require to be blind baked or partially baked before and others don't?
So you're going to want to blind bake for some of the pies. This one was partially baked because we're going to put this back into the oven for a little while. We want to make sure we gave it a head start and our ingredients don't dry out. But you're going to do a full blind bake if you're making a lemon meringue or a coconut cream. That's not going to go back in the oven. That way you have a nice pastry that's not soggy on the bottom. And this last layer here, ladies, this is like my favorite, and I'm just getting right in there. These are cooked potatoes with, again, more brown butter, obsessed, and dill. So once you get this done, isn't this crazy? No regular top on this. Then you put it back in the oven, and you get it nice and crispy when that brown butter like kind of fries right on there.
And that's all of dinner in one pie. You've got all your sides and everything in there.
You do.
Next up, you've already blown our minds here, but you're going to continue to do so with your next pie, which is a pie poutine sundae. This sounds like a masterpiece. Can you take us through how you did this, starting with what did you use to do the cheese curds?
What we start with, and you had to get something that was going to look like cheese and like the curds. Right. So we start with a maple buttercream frosting. Once you make that, just spread it nice and thin and put it in your freezer for at least 20 minutes so it's nice and firm. And then you're just going to break it apart into little pieces. Let's give that a little break. Yeah, there we go. This has been out a little bit, but the more frozen it is, and organic shapes. It just looks like little cheese curds.
So you're going to start building the poutine for us. And oh my, I'm just fascinated to see this process. What is the most important part to kind of pull this all off?
Well, you need the fries. Like that is probably the most important. So what I've done is we've got our double butter pastry again because it's just the best. We're going to roll that to about 1/8 of an inch thick. And then we're just going to cut out some nice little fries. And you guys, you don't have to worry about it being exactly perfect because fries are all different shapes and sizes.
Right.
We're going to get that onto a baking sheet. And once you've got a whole bunch, then you are just going to take that egg wash, give it a little brush on all of these. I'm not going to do a whole bunch of them because TV magic, I've already made some. But we've got the cinnamon sugar, give them that golden look. And then
good idea.
Magically, here they are. And what we're going to do is we're going to assemble this. So in a nice little dish, you've got the ice cream hiding in the bottom. And then we just start to put the fries in. And if they're long strips, just give them a little break. And I don't know if you guys can actually see this, but these flaky layers, that's the magic. So we get a whole bunch of these in there. So once you've got a nice little bowl of fries, we're going to pop all these little cheese curds in there. Cheese curds.
Will you do that while the fries are still hot, or do you let them cool down all the way?
I let these cool down, but if you take the maple caramel, and if you don't like maple, that's okay. I mean, it's a really Canadian dish. You can always just put vanilla in instead of the maple extract, but warm this up a little bit. And as you pour that gravy down over, it's going to start to melt them. Like, look at that. And we got to do the little edge drip because that looks so good.
Jenell, you are about to make an amazing mom out of me because Christmas is at my house. Whoo, we're taking it to a whole different level. Jenell, thank you so much for your time and for feeding us, first and foremost.
Thank you so much for having me, ladies. It's been fun.
All right, everyone, these amazing recipes are going to be right up on our website after the show. And do not forget, the book, You Want a Piece of Me, is available right now. So make sure you go out and purchase it. Stick around. We'll be right back.